There are very few cosmic entities as fascinating and awe-inspiring as the weird Shoggoths. These beings hark back to an antediluvian age and were spawned by the Elder Things, a race of almost godlike beings of power and science. Such entities who prowled the primordial earth used their innovative knowledge to mold the Shoggoths. The Elder Things required adaptable servants, able to fulfill a variety of tasks, and the Shoggoths answered their needs, capable of transforming themselves according to their master's whims. Accounts of these creatures have appeared in eerie tomes, such as the nefarious Necronomicon, describing them both curiously and fearfully. But the relationship between the Shoggoths and their creators has not remained unaltered. With time, the Shoggoths developed a kind of conscience, and with it, a lust for freedom and rebellion. The Shoggoths are entities almost unspeakably horrifying. Their shape is amorphous, an agglomeration of organic matter beyond human comprehension. They loom as gigantic, jagged masses, their texture and shape easily altered with unsettling ease. A Shoggoth's surface is frequently described as a black, oily sea, dotted with eyes that randomly appear and disappear. These dull, lifeless eyes stare out at the world with a cold, scheming curiosity. The Shoggoth's metamorphosis ability is arguably their most outstanding feature. They can grow limbs, organs, and even emulate the appearance of other creatures with uncanny accuracy. This ability is not only a tool to adapt, but also a weapon. They can transform into monster-like forms with tentacles, sharp-toothed mouths, or replicate the shape of their prey, lulling their victims into a fog of confusion and terror before the deadly attack. Alongside their shape-shifting form, Shoggoths come with special abilities that make them incredibly powerful beings inside their domain. Perhaps one of the most disturbing is their powerful impersonation of human voices and other sounds. This capacity serves not only to baffle and frighten their victims, but also as a means of communication between them, generating a cacophony of pilfered voices that echo in their dwelling depths. Shoggoths also possess extreme strength and stamina, allowing them to survive in harsh environments and withstand injuries that would prove fatal to any other creature. Their amorphous nature lets them cross small, cramped spaces and adapt to almost any environment, making them ruthless and virtually indestructible hunters. Initially raised as servants, the Shoggoths bear witness to the Elder Things' advanced alien science. They were fashioned to be perfectly adaptable and compliant, an ideal solution to the ancients' labor and construction needs. They were deployed to construct enormous underwater cities and monumental structures, molding their amorphous forms to efficiently manipulate materials and carry out engineering work challenging physical limitations. Their malleable nature and sturdiness made them ideal for laboring in hostile and unreachable environments, such as the ocean depths and underground caverns. The Shoggoths had a hand in the ancient wars, apocalyptic conflicts where the great ancient beings fought to rule the earth. Against this chaotic and destructive backdrop, the Shoggoths were critical as living weapons in the Elder Things' armies. Whilst facing such formidable opponents as the Mi-Go and other alien entities, their masters harnessed the Shoggoths in astonishing ways. Their form-changing ability made them exceptionally versatile on the battlefield. They could morph into imposing war weapons with lethal tentacles and appurtenances, liable to crush, tear, and destroy their enemies with brutal ease. Their amorphous shapes meant they could infiltrate enemy lines, donning deceptive guises to launch sabotage and surprise attacks. Using the Shoggoths as weapons of war, meanwhile, also laid the seeds for their eventual rebellion. Subdued by violence and chaos, these beings soon developed a crude conscience, and with it a growing resentment towards their masters. The war turned them from sheer instruments of their creators into self-willed entities, leading them down a road towards autonomy and defiance. Having once been simply agents of someone else's will, they began to long for independence, challenging the order established by their creators. As the millennia passed, this awareness gathered strength, morphing into an uncontrollable craving for freedom. Now gifted with a primeval kind of intelligence, the Shoggoths rebelled against the Elder Thing's tyranny, exhibiting an ability to resist and a willfulness that defied their original nature. The rebellion raged like a tempest within the heart of the ancient cities. Previously mere servants of another's will, the Shoggoths surfaced with untamed anger. Their rampage was fueled by chaotic and desperate violence, a battle of wills between the creators and their creations. These hectic battles resounded with the cries of a newfound freedom, a paramount ode to the horrors of power and the intoxicating lure of autonomy. The Shoggoth rebellion evolved into a shrouded legend, a cautionary tale about the cost of subjugation and the price of freedom in the shadowy Lovecraftian landscape. The Shoggoths dwell in the world's forgotten corners, where architecture defies the laws of physics and human rationale. These sites, usually underground or underwater, echo the ancient and advanced civilization of the Elder Things. These forgotten cities are alien stone mazes, with structures seemingly in defiance of gravity and logic. The hallways and chambers of these ancient formations are laid out in a non-Euclidean manner, generating a disorientating and oppressive effect. Shoggoths move easily in these settings, with their amorphous shapes conforming to the outlandish angles and impossible geometries of their environment. For the Shoggoths, these areas are sanctuaries as well as prisons. They bear silent witness to their creator's power and downfall, now dwelling among the ruins of a once imposing greatness. They represent the living memory of a time when the earth was lorded over by forces beyond human comprehension, a gloomy relic of a past brimming with unimagined wonders and horrors. When humans ventured into the forsaken depths where the Shoggoths resided, the explorers could feel the air laden with an alien presence. Curious and wary, the Shoggoths kept observing these intruders with a plethora of eyes that popped in and out of their pulsating masses. They listened, mimicked, and sometimes toyed with their voices, reverberating human words in distorted, hissing tones. Some humans found that the sole sight of a Shoggoth was enough to unleash madness. They perceived Shoggoths as the reflection of an age-old fear, an embodiment of the horror that lay beyond comprehension. These encounters between humans and Shoggoths, fraught with dread and fascination, were brief and often fatal. In their nonchalance and alienness, the Shoggoths would remind humans of their own meaninglessness, that there were secrets and realities in the world that were perhaps best kept hidden, untouched, and misunderstood. Whilst they share the same universes as entities like Cthulhu and Nyarlathotep, the Shoggoths stand apart. If Cthulhu stands for slumbering power and Nyarlathotep for active malice, the Shoggoths epitomize rebellion against the gods and the terror of unchecked evolution. The Shoggoths are more than merely horrifying creatures. They are fraught with profound symbolism. First, they embody the fear of the unknown and the out of control. Their amorphous shape and ability to constantly change symbolize the universe's unfathomable and chaotic aspects, impervious to human understanding and control. On top of this, the Shoggoths reflect Lovecraft's anxiety over science and technological progress. The tale of their making and later rebellion against the ancients serves as a metaphor for the dangers of scientific hubris and the rampant manipulation of nature. More philosophically, the Shoggoths also epitomize the fragility of the human condition. They serve as a constant reminder that, as far as the grand scheme of the cosmos is concerned, humanity is puny and fragile. subject to forces that are beyond its comprehension and control. This perception is a central trait of Lovecraft's cosmic horror, where the deepest fear comes not from monsters or ghosts, but from acknowledging our insignificance before infinity.